Hola y bienvenidos a la Deuces Wild Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes, presidente de eso mejor cerveza. No abate porno filter network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us this morning, but he will be with us tonight. Regardless, dead or alive, here or not here, you guys know we properly salute our boys each and every single day we come on here. You ready? Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Well, remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant morning on this Tuesday after the first day of July. We, of course, are sponsored by the Foot Reflexology Board. That's right. I got a brand new one right here in the package, ready to get shipped out. Go to ericbyrnes.com to get one of those, where you can also pick up this gorgeous double Birdman flippy necklace that I got on. There it is. As well as a Let Them Play parenting and coaching guide to use sports, along with your Daily Hustle 222 unfiltered life guidance from a human crash test dummy. It's a little deformed. It went through some weather when I left it outside. And then, of course, who can forget the fuck it list? Life lessons from a human crash test dummy. All at ericbyrnes.com. Okay, the Daily Hustle quote of the day. Just keep fucking charging. Daily Hustle translation. I like to think I've done some pretty cool shit in my life. Ironically, a few of those things just so happened to occur on June 29th. In 2003, I became the first person to ever hit for cycle at Pac Bell Park. And in 2016, I earned the highly coveted, at least in the endurance running world, silver belt buckle by finishing the Western States 100-mile endurance run in 22 hours. That brings us to Sunday, which of course was the 29th of June. 22 years removed from the cycle and the 9th anniversary of the Western States finish. Certainly, it was a day to reflect upon, but most importantly, it was a simple reminder to keep chasing experiences and keep living life. So on Sunday, instead of trying to bask in the BS glory of the past, I once again found myself in the grind. And it was chasing a California Pickleball Championship 4.5 mixed doubles title. My partner and I pulled off a couple of amazing comebacks, going 5-0 and earning our way to the gold medal match. Ultimately, we lost in the third game of the finals and took home silver, apparently a popular medal on June the 29th. But it's never been about the prize. A specific day, or any other day for that matter, isn't about any sort of award or perceived grand accomplishment. It's about immersing ourselves in the experience, enjoying the arduous journey, and simply giving life absolutely everything we have. Yes, for me, June 29th is a day to remember. But most importantly, it's a great reminder for all of us to just keep fucking charging. That's it. So, yeah, Sunday was a little bit of a trip because before I went to bed, I saw something that flashed up where X amount of years ago, 22 specifically, I had hit cycle. And what was cool, and I do think it's cool. I think every year it's nice to look back upon it, and I'm certainly really grateful for that day. Right here is actually the box score that a buddy of mine, Jason Krefitz, kept at the game. He was sitting in the first row of the outfield bleachers. So when I hit my home run to center field, before getting to the ballpark, I had talked to Jason Krafitz and Brendan Royer, and they had said they were coming to the game. I said, well, remember this. Be sure to check me out as I'm rounding second base because I might just so happen to flip you the bird because these guys are Giants fans. Well, I didn't flip them the bird on the way around the bases, but I did look like 2, 3, 4 times in that direction. And they weren't seeing exactly where the ball went into center field. They were just to the right of it. Well, I looked 4 times. I go back in the dugout. And then when I came out later and was playing catch in between innings, it was like this. Boom. And I saw him, and I'd be like that. Boom. Back here. So just obviously fun, good nature. But this is one of the coolest presents I think that I've ever gotten. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was a present actually my 30th birthday. And you could see just the details of all of it. So the A's lineup that day, by the way, just for fun, let's go over this. Byrnes, Hatteberg, Tejada, Chavez, Hernandez, Long, Ellis, Chris Singleton. The pitchers were Mulder, Messier, McMillan then pinch hit, and then you had Keith Falk come in there to close it out. On the Giants side, it was Ray Durham leading off. Perez, is that Nefi Perez? Hitting second, playing shortstop. Then you had Marquise Grissom hitting third. Christensen came in to pitch. You had Santos pinch hit. You had Pedro Feliz going to play left field. That was all out of the 3 spot. Then you had, this is really cool, Benito Santiago catching. Andres Galarraga playing first base. You had Alfonso playing third base. Jose Cruz Jr. playing right field. And then the starting pitcher was Faubert. Then you had Zerbe. And then Valderrama came in for the double switch. So this is certainly something that I will be forever grateful for. Obviously, it's sitting here in my office. So thank you to Jason Krafitz. Thank you to Buckwheat for being my inspirations to stick it to the Giants that day. Now, onward, upward, though, because as I reflected upon the cycle, I then remembered and was reminded, because it was last weekend, of Western States. Now, I can't believe, it's one you say, okay, 22 years is a cycle. I'm like, fuck, man, it feels like 40 years ago. It feels like a really, really long time ago. Western States was 9 years ago. That felt like yesterday. I don't know if because that was a lot more physically exerting or whatever, but it's crazy to think that it's been 9 years. But I'm really still connected to that part of my life, because after baseball, it was broadcasting, which I'm obviously still doing today, along with endurance sports world. So it was swimming, biking, running, and obviously the ultra marathoning. And then just recently, within the past year, is when I played my first pickleball tournament, was last June. It's been this whole pickleball thing. But I think the lesson more than anything, the reason why I wanted to take a minute and write this daily hustle on this, is that we all are going to do some cool shit with our lives, right? And whether it's just so happens to be on the same day or same sort of time period or whatever, we're going to have these monumental things that we accomplish. And I think it's cool. But if you guys are anything like me, and I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way, I somewhat have this, I don't really give a fuck mentality. And I say that in the sense that, yeah, it was something that I've done, but it's not something that I want to sit here and try to relive over and over and over and over again. What's interesting too, even in the TV world, whenever I would do a TV show and then I'd be done with it, and I'd go home and I'd always have MLB Network on, and say I go back to my apartment in New York City, and here it is, I'm on TV. You'd think maybe somebody who would be somewhat egocentric would be like, oh yeah, now it's time to not only do the television show, they come home and watch the television show that I was on. I never fucking watched. Never. Even old games, right? Like, I never went back. I mean, every now and again, I used to have a dig tape, which was just all highlights of my hitting, basically. I would try to watch those before, but that was just trying to create that mental imagery within my head and just programming that. But I have no interest in reliving these sort of things. I think there's great lessons that come from them. So whenever I go and do a speaking engagement, I do enjoy telling the story of the Western States 100, or telling the story of the cycle, or telling the story of the 20-game win streak that we had in Oakland. But that's because there's so many lessons that I learned within that. So if I'm going to reflect upon those experiences and then draw the lessons to promote further conversation and potentially raise a bunch of questions, yeah, I like to do that. But I definitely don't like just going back and being like, oh, hey, even with Diamond to the Rough, which was a documentary which was made about my journey from the baseball diamond to the Western States 100, which I believe is still on Apple and you're able to get it there. No, I watched it a few times as it went through the editing process, but maybe a couple outside of the showings that we did. Same thing with the Let Them Play Triathlon Across America documentary, where I watched them in the different showings that we did. Maybe one other time, but that's it. And so, in the most roundabout way, as I sit here and talk to myself over and over and over again, what I'm really trying to say is that do cool shit with our lives, right? And completely immerse ourselves in that experience. But when it's gone, it's gone. That's it. Draw great lessons from them, reflect upon them for the benefit of others, but move the fuck on. So I moved on from Major League Baseball. I moved on from the Western States 100 in the ultra endurance world. And here I was on Sunday grinding it out on the pickleball courts. My partner, Krista, and I fell behind in the first game. I believe it was like 14-8. I know it was 14-8. And then came back and won 16-14. It's incredible what's possible when you have this I don't give a fuck attitude. And I also think it's incredible what's possible when you somewhat concede losing. And that's what happened to us right there in that situation. It was like, okay, look, we were up, I believe it was like 8-6 or 8-7 at the break. They got the ball back and went on a run. And pickleball really is a game of runs. So we knew we could hang with them. We just started making some mistakes and weren't executing our shots. And then we got the ball back at 14-8, got a point. It was 14-9. And we both kind of looked at each other like, let's fuck go. I'm like, we may not win this game, but let's make them sweat it, right? And sure enough, whack, boom, 14-10, boom, 14-11, 14-12, 14-13, 14-14. And then they got the ball back at 14-14. Boom, we got it right back. And I just knew it was over at that point. 15-14, 16-14, see ya. And they were good, really good. So then from there, we rolled. Our second match, which ironically was a team that we played in the gold medal match, 15-1. Fucking destroyed them. And that's what momentum can do for you when you just start executing your shots, believing. And had one more game. The next game after that, I think, was like a 15-6 against a really good team. And then had one more banger where we were down like 14-11 and came back again and won 16-14. Then we went to the semis. I think it was 15-6 in the semis. And then got to the finals, won our first game. I think it was 11-6. And then the second game, it just didn't really click. We fell behind big, maybe like 9-2, brought it all the way back to 9-9, and had an opportunity that we should have taken advantage of. Didn't. They won it 11-9, then they won the third game. I think it was like 11-6 or something. Couple controversial plays in there, but I'm not going to get into that. We're about moving onward and upward here at the Daily Hustle. So anyhow, that all said, just an awesome experience. We ended up getting the silver medal. Also got the silver medal in singles. Similar sort of story with the singles thing, but just a battle on the court. It was the California State Championship is what they called it. UTR puts it on. It was a golden ticket tournament. So if you had won, you get the golden ticket to the national championship. I don't know how that works. Most of the stuff that I play in are PPA events, but obviously just missed out. According to other people, I do have because I finished second, I do have priority registration if I would like to the national championship coming in San Diego later this year. But then again, like, look, this is not about silver belt buckle. It's not about a fucking silver medal. It's not even about the cycle. What all of these three things are about, and just like this reminder, I think, to each and every one of us, is we just got to keep fucking going, man. Like, we cannot stop. We stop, we're dead. It is as simple as that. Yo, what's up, dude? Good to see you. And John Davis, hola, man. It's been a minute. I apologize for my absence. I've been on the road for 3 weeks. We went from South Carolina, had a big speaking event at the Ripken complex down there, met with 100 coaches plus. Super cool. I could do that all day. As a matter of fact, I almost want to run some sort of coaching session here on No Filter Network. That's how much I enjoyed the Q&A with these coaches. They're travel ball coaches. So obviously, I'm in this world with travel ball. We then went to North Carolina, or let them play 13U team, played in a big USA baseball event. Kids did okay. Not great. Okay. Kind of a tough age to be on the big field with BB Core bats and not a ton of offense. Well, I take that back because we did win, but I think it was 14-13. I think we were 4-2 total. Lost to ZT National 6-2, who's the number one team in the country, and we lost to SBA. Now, ironically, we played SBA the next week in St. Louis at the Perfect Game National Championship. I feel like one of those fucking memes, right? Whereas, and if we win this, we go to this and this and this and this. I'm sure you guys have seen that on Instagram or TikTok or wherever the fuck it was. But it's so over the top. So we then went to St. Louis, and we were able to get SBA in the first elimination bracket. SBA Nationals, I think that was the third time we played them. So they got us the first two times. Very good. And then we were able to get them in St. Louis, and then made an incredible run in St. Louis. We lost to the Banditos, but then came back. We beat a Houston Wildcatters team, and then we played Mike Fontenot and the Traction Canes. Really well-run organization. Fontenot, a great coach, steward of the game, former great player, LSU Tiger, San Francisco Giant. I mean, you go on and on, Chicago Cub, but just an awesome dude. Really enjoyed coaching against them. They outplayed us for whatever it was, 6.5 innings, and it wasn't even close. Our boys, I think, were coming off the high from the comeback victory against the Houston Wildcatters the night before. We were dead in the water, and sure enough, we get to the bottom of the 7th inning, down 7 runs, and scored 8 runs for the walk-off. Just fucking awesome, man. Ironically, we still had our ace, Levi Wolf, left to pitch against USA Prime as we got down to the final 6 teams. It started with 30, and Levi just didn't have it. When this kid gets it, though, this is Tariq Jubal. That's exactly who he is. He's just funky. He's got everything coming at you. But the problem is, kids at home, you got to throw strikes. And Levi started off just not throwing strikes. Snowball from there. Huge deficit and could not recover. But that was the end of the LTP 13U season. Really proud of the boys. Going into the tournament, we were ranked the number 1 team in the West. We were ranked the number 1 team in the state of California, the number 7 team in the country. I don't think we had anything to hurt our standings there. We finished in the top 6 at PGI. So, overall, it's certainly not about the rankings because no one's going to fucking remember where we finished when we're talking about this 5 years from now. It's be like, oh, yeah, I think we were up there, whatever. I mean, by then, I'd probably say we were like the number 2 team in the country. Who knows? But I think more than anything, this is once again about the experience, right? Playing against the best players and teams in the country at this point. That's why we continue to do this. It's not an ego play. Certainly don't want to dish out all the money that I think we do as an organization and as a family to do that. But look, the experiences are priceless. So looking forward to the 14U season. I'm starting to put together a few things right now in my mind, and then we'll go out there and try to put together a team. I think you got to come up with a schedule first, and then we're losing a few kids to high school, which will be tough because they're a couple of our better players, Levi and then Frank the Tank, just an iconic figure. It really has been a pleasure coaching both of those kids, but obviously we're going to wish them well as they embark on their high school journey. Levi going to IMG Academy, by the way. Family moving out to Florida. That's a trip. And I know Frankie is at Castile in Arizona, which is just a fantastic program down there. So best luck to those kids. And then as far as the LTP 14U for the fall, yeah, let's ride. All right, Major League Baseball last night. It was the Philadelphia Phillies 4-0 over the San Diego Padres, who continue to reel. I mean, the Pods and the Giants have just fucking collapsed. No other way to put it. Pittsburgh 7-0 at home against the St. Louis Cardinals, who've been playing pretty good baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays, who are now 46-38 after a 5-4 win against the Yankees. They are nipping at the heels of New York. Toronto looks good. Really, really good. Then you got Boston, who I think was the second day in a row where they scored a shit ton of runs after being dog shit after they traded Devers. 13-6. The A's 6-4 winners against the Tampa Bay Rays. And Colby Thomas, after my heart, with the pick and janitor throw to nail a runner at the plate with the game on the line, it was just fucking awesome. You rarely see the janitor throw these days in the game of baseball, and I don't know why, but here he was last night making his major league debut, full sending it, and it was a good one too. Massive, massive error. So when people would ask me about the janitor throw and when it started, I don't even remember. I do know that the first time I did it, I 1000% did not try to. It was just that I had so much momentum going forward and released the ball, and all of a sudden I went flying through the air. And then a little bit later in my career, I don't think it was until I got to Arizona, I would consciously do it just to be able to get that much more force behind my throw. Now, say what you want about it. If it's for show, if not for show, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I will tell you that helped me lead the league in assists one year. So that was huge. When I was with the A's, it would not happen all the time, but it would happen on the real big momentum throws. And then again, with the Diamondbacks, when I would do it, it would it was definitely a conscious effort. I mean, I would get a ball like this and then plant and throw and roll. Now, the reason why it's called the janitor throw, this was coined by Kent Murphy, legendary. I don't know if he's a fictional coach or what, but he would say that the janitor throw was a throw that allowed him to clean up all the little turds on the bases. So Colby Thomas, as the A's number 2 prospect, with a huge one yesterday. And I mentioned that score. It was the A's 6, Tampa Bay 4. Baltimore 10-6 winners. They're just 10 games below 500 now, so playing better baseball. The Texas Rangers 41-44, they fall. Seattle is 44-40 with a 6-2 win over Kansas City last night in Seattle. And then once again, the Giants fall. They're just 5 games above 500 now at 45-40. The Arizona Diamondbacks, good for them. They're back at 500 with that 4-2 win. The slate today: New York's at Toronto, San Diego at Philly, St. Louis at Pittsburgh, Minnesota at Miami. That kicks off at 3:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Detroit is at Washington. I did a video on Tarek Skubal the other day. This guy is so fucking next level. If you watch him pitch on Sunday night, this is one of those situations where it feels like it's not fair. He should be pitching in a different league. These hitters, the Minnesota hitters specifically, were so gosh damn overmatched. It was a fucking joke. He had that changeup dropping off the table, the fastball he was spitting out of his ear at 100 miles per hour. It was absolutely filthy. The A's, once again, at Tampa. You have Cincinnati at Boston. Milwaukee is at the New York Mets. The Mets have been absolutely reeling themselves, 48-37. Remember, there's ebbs and flows to the season. And you're going to go through some hot stretches and some cold stretches. Everybody fucking does it. There's no way to avoid it. The best of the best teams, theirs is just a lot shorter period of time than obviously the teams that end up not in the playoffs. The Angels, who had been playing well, 41-42 now at Atlanta, who's still at 38-45, not even back to 500 for the Bravos. Cleveland is at the Chicago Cubs. Cubs trying to win their 50th game of the year. They're 49-35. Baltimore is at Texas again tonight. Houston at Colorado. Colorado's still sitting there looking for their 20th win of the season. They're 19-65. Historically, one of the worst teams in the history of Major League Baseball, and they might just take that title away from the Chicago White Sox. They are fucking awful. Really, really bad. Their offense, it is astonishing to think that that is the case considering where they get to hit. So I don't know what's going on in Colorado, but Houston is at 50-34 right now. Once again, on top of the National League West. I think Jeremy Pena's hurt. Yordan Alvarez isn't there. How the fuck they keep doing this year in and year out is so gosh damn beyond me, but you got to give them a little bravo for their continued success. Kansas City at Seattle. Once again, San Francisco is at Arizona at 6:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Will the Thrill and I will be on the alternative broadcast call for that tonight. And then the Chicago White Sox, in their 28-56 record, travel to Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles for a matchup tonight. Okay, the power rankings. You know what? Before we do that, just kind of catching up here. Let's go to the standings, the divisional standings. You got the Yankees on top in the East with the Rays in second place, a game and a half back. Blue Jays 2 games back. The Tigers at 53 and 32. I believe they share the best record in baseball with the Dodgers. They do. They're 11 and a half up on the Guardians. Who would thunk that the AL Central would be decided before the All-Star break? But that is fucking basically the case. The Tigers have won 2 in a row, and you got teams like Cleveland, the Twins, the Royals. They're 3-7, 3-7, 2 in their last 10. Have not been playing baseball. You know who has though? The White Sox are 5-5 in their last 10. The Astros 6 up on the Mariners, 8.5 up on the Angels, and 9.5 up on the Rangers. The Rangers, they need to figure out a way. Look, they're plus 12 in run differential. So that does show me that they have the tools there to get back into it. It's just a matter of winning baseball games. The Phillies have been playing well. They are 50 and 35 now. 2 games up on the Mets. The Braves 11 back. The Cubs 49 and 35. I mentioned that earlier. 2 up on the Brewers. How about the Brewers? 8 and 2 in their past 10, plus 56 run differential. There's 4 teams actually in the NL Central. The Cardinals at 47 and 39, and then the Reds at 44 and 41. All of them with a plus 33 run differential or better. Reds are plus 33, Cardinals are plus 38, Brewers are plus 56, and the Cubs at plus 104. Dodgers at plus 90 in their run differential, and they sit 6.5 games above the Padres and 8 games above the Giants. Giants are plus 30 on the run differential. Padres plus 13. Whenever I see a low run differential and a team that's doing well, give credit to the manager. Mike Schilt doing a great job. Bob Melvin, the year we won the NL West in Arizona, we had, I think, an even or a negative run differential. We were right there. It's something that I've paid attention to for a long time. The number 1 run differential in baseball, in case you're curious. The New York Yankees at plus 112. Okay, overall power rankings, like it really fucking matters. Yeah, let's do it anyway. This came out in The Athletic this morning. The Dodgers at numero uno, the Tigers at number 2, Yankees at 3, Phillies at 4, Houston at 5, Cubs at 6, Mets at 7, Rays at 8, Giants at 9. That's way too fucking high. Really? We're going to give them a 9 ranking? Yeah, too high. Padres, I'd put above them right now. Number 10. Then you got Milwaukee. I'd put Milwaukee way above the Giants at 11. St. Louis Cardinals tied for 11. There's actually a formula that they do come up with a number. So it's not just subjective ranking. Let's read this formula and see how they actually come up with this. It says every week we ask a selected group of our baseball writers, local and national, to rank the teams from first to worst. Here are the clever results. Remember, when Blake Snell was on the injured list and Los Angeles Dodgers' absurdly deep pitching staff began to show some weakness, what was that? 4 weeks ago? 5 weeks ago? 3 months ago? Yes, the second you hear is the baseball calendar flipped in July. The All-Star break is 2 weeks away. The trade deadline is a month away, and we're beyond the halfway point to game 162. It's starting to feel like some of these games actually count. April can be misleading, and May can be a month of transition, but June is when we really wrap our heads around what we're seeing. The sample sizes are not small anymore. The inevitable shifts towards contention. We're looking at you, Braves and Rangers. Stop feeling so certain. For this week's power rankings, we look at where each team was trending in June, from the boring to the surging to downright confusing. Okay, so I guess I get the points just based on where they get ranked. But like I said, I mean, why is Milwaukee at 11 tied with St. Louis, and then you have the Giants? Yeah, no chance. I mean, Milwaukee's 10 games over 500. The Giants are 5. Simple as that. They should not be ranked where they are. How about Seattle? I mean, Seattle's 44 and 40, and they're ranked at fucking 15. The Reds are at 14. Toronto's at 13. I like Toronto. And Toronto's trending in the right direction. And then after that, who gives a shit? Whatever. I don't know. I don't love the power ranking thing. And let's leave with this, folks. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. It says, what exactly is Bobby Bonilla Day? Well, here it is. When the New York Mets flip their calendar July 1st, it's time for them to send an annual check to Bobby Bonilla. That's right. On Tuesday, Bonilla will receive $1.9 million from the Mets as part of the deferred payment structure of his contract. From 2011 to 2035, Bonilla gets a check every July 1st. Bonilla will be 72 years old when he receives the Mets' final check. Bonilla is the most famous deferred deal in MLB history, but other players have received similar contract structures, including the Los Angeles Dodgers two-way star Shohei Ohtani. How did Bonilla get the deal, and who else has one? Let's dive in. All right. It says ahead of the 1997 season, Bonilla signed a 4-year, $23 million contract with the Miami Marlins. He won the World Series with the Marlins that year, but the club traded him during the following year to the Dodgers. Bonilla finished out the 1998 season before being traded back to the Mets in November. The franchise with which he has won an all-star, in which he was an all-star in 93 and 95. But Bonilla had a rough 1999 season with the Mets, marred by a tense relationship with manager Bobby Valentine, and hitting 160 in only 60 games. The club wanted to move on from Bonilla in the offseason and agreed to buy out the remaining $5.9 million of his contract. But instead of giving the right fielder a lump sum, the Mets and Bonilla's agent, Dennis Gilbert, negotiated a 25-year deferred payment plan with 8% interest starting on July 1st, 2011. Bonilla went on to play two more MLB seasons, 2000 with the Atlanta Braves in 2001 with the St. Louis Cardinals before he retired. Across 16 Major League seasons, he had 279, 2,000 hits, 287 home runs, and 2,113 regular season games. Playing 6 All-Star selections, won 3 Silver Sluggers, and played for 8 teams. It says, why opt for deferred payments? Well, the reason a team might want to defer a player's salary or a remaining contract owed is largely to retain financial flexibility in the short term. This is what made the Dodgers deal with Ohtani so fascinating. Ohtani will be paid just $2 million a year in each of the 10 years of his deal. Then he will receive, ready for this, $68 fucking million per year from 2034 to 2043, making Bonilla's deal look like penny stocks. This is going to be insane. Yes, I think this day will forever be remembered as Bobby Bonilla Day, but the Shohei Ohtani Day that we're celebrating in 2043 is going to be a fucking entirely new level. It says, speaking of stocks, the Mets originally offered Bonilla the deferred payments of the $5.9 million they owed him because they thought they could exceed the deferral payments by investing that $5.9 million in Bernie Madoff's fund, which up until that point had produced meaningful returns for then Mets owner Fred Wilpon. Madoff's fund, of course, turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. The payments owed to Bonilla still now remain intact. After Bonilla and other players like Ohtani, the value of the deferred payment is that over time, the money incurred surpasses the money originally owed. Even accounting for basic principles of finance, that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar years from now. If the player can afford to defer the payments and is certain that the team can continue to make those actual payments, which is a safe bet considering these are MLB teams, the payoff can dramatically exceed what the team could pay you in that present day contract, as Bonilla and the Mets fans celebrate annually. So, Mets reaction to Bobby Bonilla Day. Team owner Steve Cohen has acknowledged the intrigue surrounding Bobby Bonilla Day. After buying the team in 2020, Cohen suggested to a fan on X that the Mets could lean into the holiday and present Bonilla with a big check at Citi Field every July 1st. I fucking love it. They absolutely should do that. Cohen and the Mets have never done this, but instead planned on an Airbnb promotion in honor of Bobby Bonilla Day in 2021 for 4 fans to rent a VIP suite and spend the night at Citi Field. That's so good. Ohtani, other notable deferred deals. The Dodgers signed Ohtani to a 10-year, $700 million contract in 2023 that included a series of unprecedented deferrals, paying him $68 million per year over 9 years. The deferred money is to be paid without interest and gives Dodgers payroll flexibility. Okay. I mean, fuck, man. Other guys who have done it, Bonilla, Max Scherzer, Rafael Devers. Woo, I didn't know this. The Red Sox signed him to a 10-year, $313.5 million contract extension in 2023 with $75 million in deferred payments. It's paid in $7.5 million installments twice a year through 2043. However, the San Francisco Giants acquired Devers in a trade last month and assumed the remaining portion of the contract, taking Red Sox off the hook for it. Well, it puts the Giants on the hook for it, but they don't fucking care. They're pretty much in the same position the Dodgers are. How about Chris Davis, former Orioles star, signed a 7-year, $161 million deal with the club in 2016, including $42 million in deferred money. Those payments stretch from 2023 to 2037. For Davis, who last played in the major leagues in 2020. In 2001, Manny Ramirez signed an 8-year, $160 million deal with the Red Sox, who agreed to defer $32 million over 16 years. He received $2 million every year in that span. Who agreed to defer, over 16 years. He received $2 million every year in that span. And the last payment will come in 2026. Ramirez's career ended in 2011. And then Brett Saberhagen. Really? The right-hander retired in 2001, but still receives $250,000 per year from the Mets. Good on the Mets. The deferrals started in 2004 and will last until 2029. So there it is. Happy Bobby fucking Bonilla Day, man. Oh, so proud of you, man. One, the players got over on the owners, in my opinion. I was only $5.9 million. I can't believe that. They could have paid him $5 million and he had been gone, but instead these checks just keep coming. I mean, this year's is $1.9 million. So I don't know exactly how they're chopped up. I think it's on average of like 1.2. But anyway. All right, we'll see you tonight. Deuces at Wild, 6 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. Actually, we're Pacific Daylight Time. Oh, and by the way, news for each and every one of you. We'll be giving out these Deuces Wild shirts. That's right. Not only the ones that are spelled incorrectly, Dueces, but we have the brand new shipment that are spelled correctly, Deucs. So join tonight for a chance to win the Deuces Wild correctly spelled shirts. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. See you.